We will die anyway. The two of us. Let's seize his hands at the same time.
In the meantime, the Psycho was knocking down people with his axe in a flash. Several people were bleeding and moaning on the floor. At that time, a man attacked the Psycho, and the two started fighting. At that moment, I told Matthew,
Hold his left hand.
Matthew and I ran frantically and grabbed the Psycho's hands. Then he struggled like mad, and I managed to snatch away one axe from his hand. But Matthew missed his hand, and the Psycho raised his axe and hit Matthew.
Ah!
Matthew's scream infuriated me, and I slammed the Psycho's back with all my might with the axe. He groaned and fell to the floor. I continued to hit him with the axe with all my might, and he fell, bleeding, and never got up again. I gasped for breath and called the police, and when the police arrived shortly after, the scene was horrendous. 2 people died, and 2 were seriously injured. Matthew was seriously injured, and they were all taken away by an ambulance. The Psycho was dead. The police checked on the camera he was filming, which vividly recorded scenes of people being murdered by an axe. The police were in great shock. I searched for his YouTube channel that the Psycho had told me about. There were about 3 videos uploaded, but all of them were videos of him attacking many people with an axe. In the video, he was running with an axe, chasing people. Then the screen went black, only the dull sound of the axe hitting and people screaming. Then, at the end, the man appeared on the screen again, holding an axe stained with blood.
If you're curious about the actual video, click on the link in the description. You can see the actual murder scene for $100.
And I could see people lying down far away. When I entered the link, a strange website appeared with a number of actual videos uploaded. I informed the police about this, and they began to search for additional victims. I don't know what happened after that. Much time has passed, and Matthew and I are still friends, but he still shudders when he thinks of that day, and he still has a big scar on his shoulder.
Shop Kohl's for a head start on gifting. Get a Sephora set for $49. Women's sweaters starting at $20.
This is the story of my 6-year-old daughter, Riley. She was a good girl, but one day she started acting strangely. One day at dawn, she suddenly looked out the window and started howling like a wolf. When I asked why, she said that there was a wolf spirit outside and she was talking with the wolf. Mom, the wolf says that our house is where dead souls gather. I got goosebumps, but I just passed it over, thinking it wouldn't be a big deal. But even after that, the same thing happened again and again. Suddenly, she looked into the air and talked to someone, drew a strange-looking monster on her notebook, and said it was her friend. The monster was a very terrifying creature with 6 eyes and 6 limbs that looked as if 3 humans were combined together. And it possibly could not have been drawn by a 6-year-old. I tried to scold her, and I tried to talk her out of it, but she never got better. One day, on my way to work, I told her that I would be coming in late because I need to work overtime. Then she said, Mom, I have so many friends at home, so I'm not lonely. I ended up taking her to a psychiatrist, but even the doctor couldn't figure out exactly why she was behaving like this. Then one day, she suddenly handed me some bread and asked me to eat it. The moment I picked up the bread and put it in my mouth, I recognized that something red was all over the bread. I asked in surprise, Sweetie, what is this? She said, It's hamster blood. Kevin told me to give it to you. My heart sank, and I looked at the hamster cage in her room and found the hamster was dead. I was so shocked and angry, so I grabbed her and yelled, Who is Kevin? Why are you doing this? I yelled at the top of my lungs, and she pointed to the wall next to me and said, That's Kevin. His jaw is down to the ground, and his mouth is 5 feet wide. He's looking at you and drooling, and his saliva is like jelly. And Kevin's mouth is full of dead animals and dead people because he can't digest anything since he has no organs. He says he wants to eat you too. I got goosebumps, grabbed her hand, and ran out of the house right away. Then I got in the car and sped like crazy until I got to a Catholic church in the neighborhood. I frantically searched for the priest and explained everything without hesitation. Then the priest thought for a moment and said, Your daughter has made friends with sinister spirits. Your daughter won't get hurt, but the people around her will be in danger. I will say my prayers for Riley. The priest held her and prayed the rosary for a long time, and she mocked the prayer or shouted it at the priest in an unknown language. I was really embarrassed and couldn't believe all this, but there was no other way, so I continued to visit the priest after that. After visiting the church dozens of times, surprisingly, Riley gradually came back to normal. She no longer stared into space, talked to herself, or did anything strange. I was so happy, and now my family could live a normal life. I didn't go to the church anymore, and after a few months like that, one day, Riley looked into the air again and shouted, "Mom, the priest is here!" I was surprised and asked her, "The priest? Why is he here?" Then Riley pointed into the air, and there was nothing she was pointing at, and she said with a bright smile, "Here he is in Kevin's mouth." Every summer, my best friend, whom we'll call Maria, and I hung out at this resort. We each had our own hotel room that we shared together. One night, when we were 11 years old, Maria suggested that we go ghost hunting. I didn't have a great feeling about it, so I said, "I don't really think we should go. Let's just stay inside and play games." But Maria insisted, saying, "Oh, come on, it'll be fun. I'll play with you every day this summer if you go with me." Stupidly, I agreed. And we put our clothes, grabbed flashlights, and all that stuff. We went to the convenience shop in the resort to get a few sodas, and then that's when I saw her. Behind the register stood the most terrifying woman I had ever seen. My face went pale, and then she disappeared. As we were walking out, Maria noticed my pale face and asked, "Why?" I told her everything, expecting her to be concerned, but to my surprise, she seemed happy. At that moment, I thought, what's wrong with this idiot? Nevertheless, she dragged me to the lobby to investigate. While I sat in the seat, already traumatized by the incident in the convenience store. As I was getting my phone from my purse, I noticed a red stain on my sundress. I thought it was ketchup from the buffet we had, so I shook it off. A few minutes later, I heard the most blood-curdling scream coming from the elevator. I don't think anyone else heard it since there was no one else around.
That one calls it. These scary stories have really messed me up.